What's up guys, my name is Ace, and welcome back to another gun guide. This is the series where I go into great detail with all of the stats as well as some excellent attachment combinations for every gun in Modern Warfare 3. And in today's episode, we're going to be covering the brand new KAR98K. And with this one, since it's a bolt action and it behaves more like a sniper rifle than a marksman rifle, I am going to be using more of the sniper rifle format for this. So let's dive right into this with our one-shot kill zones as well as ranges. And as you can see here, in the maximum damage range from 0 to 50 meters, this gun's going to be a one-shot kill anywhere from the upper torso and up, as well as the arms, and that goes all the way down to the hand as well. And then interestingly, beyond that maximum damage range, we've got pretty close to the same one-shot kill potential. It's still the upper torso, as well as from the elbow and up. It's just now we can get a hit marker to the forearms or hand. So it doesn't really change a whole lot if you get beyond that maximum damage range, but just know you may see the odd extra hit marker there. As for our rate of fire, keeping in mind bolt actions aren't displayed properly in the advanced stats, our actual in-game rate of fire with the KAR98 is 52 rounds per minute, which isn't very fast. That's roughly the same as the MWIIIs when you're not using a bolt to speed that up, or in the case of the MWIIIs, the mag holster also improves our rate of fire. And then compared to something like the longbow, if you're using the best bolt on that one, this is about half the fire rate of the longbow, and the thing about the KAR98 is there are no attachments to improve our rate of fire with this. As a result, this is the biggest thing that's going to hold this gun back. If you miss your first shots or if you run into multiple enemies, more often than not, you're going to find yourself in big trouble. On the other hand, we do get a very good aim down sight time for a one-shot kill weapon at 360 milliseconds, and our Sprintout time is 266 milliseconds for our standard Sprintout time, so that shouldn't be an issue for you. However, our tactical Sprintout time is 390 milliseconds, which is slower than our aim down sight time, and as a result, you really want to try to not get caught in a tactical sprint with this gun. Next, let's talk about Hipfire, and this is one of the big upsides with the KAR98K. With it being a marksman rifle, we get Hipfire spreads that are much more along the lines of a marksman rifle compared to a sniper rifle, and as a result, it's not completely out of the question to be hipfiring in a close quarter situation with this gun, unlike the sniper rifles where it's a complete guessing game to hipfire, even right up close. After that though, let's have a look at our reload add time, and we do reload with a stripper clip on this, and therefore we do have a pretty consistent reload time regardless of how many shots you fired. This is 2.44 seconds, which is a little on the slower side, but it's definitely going to be faster than snipers that require you to load each round individually. And then another thing to mention is our swap speed to a pistol is going to be 1.73 seconds, which is within the realm of average for a sniper rifle, maybe is slightly on the faster side though. As for our bullet velocity, this is not bad at all at 830 meters per second. This is actually faster than the longbow sniper rifle, and this gives us a hit scan range of 42 meters, which for the 6v6 maps, this is likely going to cover most of your gunfights, depending on your playstyle, of course. Now, let's move on to our movement speed stats. And across the board, we're pretty much average when it comes to movement speeds for a marksman rifle, which tends to be a little bit better than the sniper rifles you'd see in the game, but not by a large margin. Aside from aim walking speed, that is very noticeably better than most of the sniper rifles. As for the next really important stat to cover here for one-shot kill weapons, let's have a look at our flinch resistance, and it turns out the KAR98K has the worst flinch value out of all of the Modern Warfare 3 guns in the game at 1.05 newtons. This means when you get shot, you will be flinching a little bit higher than you would with the KV inhibitor or the longbow, and definitely higher than the other sniper rifles in the game. And this is another big downside to using the KAR98K. Thankfully, the KAR98 does have multiple attachments that can help quite drastically with flinch resistance, and also I would recommend using the marksman gloves perk with this in order to cut that flinch down as much as possible, because if you don't, this is something that will severely hold you back. And now let's move on to another really important factor to consider with the KAR98 if we're comparing it to sniper rifles in the game, and this is the fact that since it is a marksman rifle, we get marksman rifle level aim assist. And what this means is if we're in hipfire, we actually get aim assist, both slowdown as well as rotational aim assist, whereas when you look at the sniper rifles, they don't get any aim assist at all until you're aim down sight. And then once you do get fully aimed down sight, I use the same optics here for direct comparison's sake, even though the KAR98 has iron sights by default. And in this case, if you pay really close attention, you can see the strength of the aim assist when you sweep across the target, and also with the rotational aim assist. So if you're strafing or your enemy is moving, the strength of that tracking will be noticeably stronger with the KAR98 versus any of the sniper rifles in the game. So that is one of the big benefits to using this as a quick scoping sniper rifle especially. If you're on controller, it will be a bit easier to hit your target compared to when you're using a sniper rifle. And then finally, one last thing to cover with the KAR98K before we get into some excellent attachment combinations, this is the fact that you can use the Bayonet Attachment in the muzzle category. Now, unfortunately, this essentially just works like the other muzzle attachments that boost your melee damage, so it will allow you to get a one-hit kill. But aside from that, it doesn't really do anything interesting. I was kind of hoping this attachment would allow you to have that mechanic we had in COD World War II where you could do like a bayonet charge, but unfortunately that's not the case, so in my eyes at least it's more for show than anything. And now that we've got all that covered, let's move into some of my favorite setups. And let's kick it off with the fastest possible aim down sight build that you can make with the KAR98K. With this one, you're using the Bryson Carbine S barrel, the SL Razorhawk laser, which is a highly visible laser when you aim down sight, so that's just something to be aware of. But generally speaking, you shouldn't be hard scoping a whole lot with this. This is more so for quick scopes. We've also got the Repeller Tack Stock, the Target Sling, and then finally the DR6 Hand Stop. And with this combination, our aim down sight speed is 257 milliseconds, which is insanely fast for a one-shot kill weapon. Also, our sprint out time is nicely improved at 204 milliseconds. One thing to keep in mind here is we didn't use any attachments to help with flinch resistance, and this can definitely throw you off and cause you to lose gunfights, so I would ensure that you're combining this with the marksman gloves at the very least. And another thing is we have reduced our bullet velocity, but this type of build, it doesn't even have an optic on it, it uses iron sights. So it's obviously not really designed for those super long range kills anyway. As for the next build I've got for you guys, this one's designed to be more balanced and also off the radar. This is my balanced stealth build. And with this one, we're once again using that Bryson Carbine S barrel. I also wanted to put a lower zoom optic on this, so we have the Corio Eagle's Eye 2.5x optic. We have the Recon Sling to help a little bit with flinch resistance. We once again have that DR6 hand stop to help with our aim down sight speed. And then finally, I top this off with the HMRES mod suppressor. And the reason I use this is first off, of course, to stay off the radar when I'm firing, but also this boosts our bullet velocity a bit while only harming our recoil. And recoil isn't really all that relevant with a gun that has such a slow rate of fire. So with all of this combined, our aim down sight speed is still very solid for a one-shot kill weapon at 328 milliseconds. Not as crazy as the previous build, but still very good. Our sprint out time is slightly improved at 244 milliseconds. Our flinch resistance is just 0.52 newtons now, and that's because of that Recon Sling, and this is excellent to see. You can still combine this with marksman gloves to cut that down even more if you'd like. And since we're using that suppressor, we boosted our bullet velocity up to 840 meters per second, and we're off the radar when we're firing. So this is just a nice balanced all-around build where you can stretch the ranges out just fine and get those long-range kills while still being able to hold your own really well up close. And that just leaves us with one last build I wanted to share with you guys today, and this is my long-range build. With this one, we're using the Canvas Barrel Wrap, the SPX80 6.6 times optic, the Repeller Tack Stock, the Recon Sling, and then finally the DR6 Hand Stop. And with this one, our aim down sight speed is 405 milliseconds, so noticeably slower than the previous two builds. Honestly, still not that bad for a one-shot kill weapon. This is still going to be faster than many of the sniper rifles in the game. Our sprint out time is the same as the previous build, so slightly improved over the base. Our flinch resistance is very low for a sniper at 0.34 newtons, and our bullet velocity is unchanged with this one. So this is the type of build where if you're playing on a longer range map or you're playing like Ground War or something, this one can definitely help you stretch those ranges out a bit more effectively. It's not going to be as consistent as a typical sniper rifle though, since you do have to hit that upper torso multiplier, not the full torso, or in some cases the full body with certain sniper rifles. So this one's definitely not the way I would typically use the KAR98. I just wanted to make sure I was providing a variety of options for different playstyles. And with that, that's going to wrap it up today's gun guide on the KAR98K. As for my thoughts on this gun, I have some mixed feelings. Like, on one hand, I totally get where a lot of the complaints in the community are coming from right now. In a 1v1 situation, face-to-face, it can be super frustrating to play against a KAR98 user that has good aim, especially when we're talking about that controller aim assist being the same as regular guns and not sniper rifles. On the other hand though, and based on my experiences using the KAR98K, that rate of fire really significantly holds this gun back from anything beyond that 1v1 situation. And then to top that off, we're capped at a 5-round magazine on that. You can never get any higher than that. And honestly, in many situations, I would much rather use a longbow, even in its current state. So I don't think the KAR98 is quite as crazy powerful as many people are making it out to be. I think the reason we're seeing a lot of people use it right now is it's brand new and it's exciting and people are just enjoying it to begin with. I think the usage will naturally start to taper off a little bit, but we'll see. Time will tell on that. Perhaps it does need a bit of an adjustment, although I don't think it needs any serious adjustments. If I were to change one thing with this, I would just make it a little weaker beyond the maximum damage range, so it really solidifies it more as a marksman rifle rather than a marksman sniper hybrid. Now, of course, these are just my thoughts, and I'd love to hear what you guys think about the KAR98K in those comments down below. And if you guys have missed any of the previous gun guides, including the Super E46, I will leave a link to the playlist in the description of the video. If you enjoyed this one, a like rating is always appreciated, and don't forget to subscribe for more if you haven't already. I'll talk to you guys next time.